This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat and far. We keeping a foot on the whoop. God, digs. We keeping a foot on the whoop. God, digs. And like the Tibetan Mastiff that I am, and like the Siberian Tiger that I am, I'm applying whoop on DVD pressure. Because pressure does what? He bursts his pipes. Let's talk about it, man. All right, bottom line is as simple as this. When we sit here and we look at, i.e., the likes of a Cinammon dust of a Horchata of an Alvarez. Look at the background. He's supposedly giving Ryan Garcia valuable lessons on sparring. What valuable lessons is Ryan Garcia going to learn? I'm going to tell you what he's going to learn. Ryan Garcia is going to learn how to duck black elite fighters. That's a sparring lesson that he's giving him. It's a verbal sparring lesson. How to basically be petrified and scared of elite black fighting competition. What he's also going to give Ryan Garcia is he's going to give Ryan Garcia the ability to know how to play the judges. Know how to get what's called boxing judging gifting decisions. Know how to get what we call basically, how should I say this? Paid to loses. Super paid to lose. How to fight cherry pickers. How to fight wounded animals. How to fight any and everything that doesn't represent heavyweight lifting and heavyweight lifting denotion. Basically tomato cans. Basically bum bashes. This is what he's teaching Ryan Garcia. So when you see they're sparring, they're not really sparring, they're talking. And Cinammon dust of a Horchata and Alvarez is saying, look man, you have the same fate that I have. Stay your rabbit ass away from Gervonta Tank Davis. You know how I know this? Because he's publicly told him this. You are not ready for Gervonta Tank Davis. The reason why he was telling him that is because he was talking him off of a ledge. You guys have to understand, they like to do this to certain fighters. They like to talk certain fighters off of ledges because they want to make sure that these fighters are not in precarious situations. Ryan Garcia would not fight Gervonta Tank Davis. He knows everything. Ben told you guys that this would be the case, and it will continue to be the case. Ryan Garcia will not fight any elite competition that will put him in a precarious situation where they would knock him out. When Ryan Garcia was finally faced with the inevitable fate that he had to eventually fight Gervonta Tank Davis, he basically went and used the mental tag. He basically went, and it's a travesty because there are really people out there that are suffering mental issues, real mental issues. He went and basically used that as his quote unquote ducking calling card so that he could duck Gervonta Tank Davis. What we see with Ryan Garcia and what we see with Cinammon dust of a Horchata and Alvarez is they have a similar thing. You cannot mention certain fighters to them because they get petrified. You cannot mention specific PBC fighters because they get petrified. With Ryan Garcia, it's Gervonta Tank Davis. With Cinammon dust of a Horchata and Alvarez, it's Jermall Charlo. You cannot do that. When you mention Jermall Charlo, Cinammon dust of a Horchata and Alvarez will do everything in his power to duck that free smoke. Ryan Garcia has learned a valuable lesson from the Cinammon dust of a Horchata and Alvarez. You want to know what the valuable lesson is? Duck elite black fighters. Be petrified and scared of black fighting competition. Terrence Buck Crawford, when he had the one that's the chihuahua walking behind the damn fence, when he had basically a black awakening, he had basically what we would say a quick black moment. He woke up, and when he woke up, he was able to see for a quick second. Cinammon dust of a Horchata and Alvarez does not deserve to be pound for pound number one because he ducks elite black fighting competition. This came out of Terrence Buck Crawford's mouth. The same chihuahua walking behind the damn fence that you guys support, that you guys root for, that you guys go for. He said it because he realized that they were snubbing him, and his ass don't belong on a pound for pound list. He's done this before with Tyson Fury. There's been moments where Terrence Buck Crawford, the chihuahua walking behind the damn fence, gets off of coon and buffoon status. This is the problem. When you stay in coon and buffoon status, you can't be your authentic self. You can't be your black self. You cannot be your black skin. You cannot be black. So because you cannot be that, you have to be something that is the makeup of that. It's called cooning and buffooning. That's what Terrence Crawford was doing. And see, what black folks have to understand, you can coon and buffoon all you want. Coon and buffooning is not going to get you nowhere. When you coon and buffoon and you cap, what ends up happening is you find yourself being played. There's nothing worse to the yes massa than him watching a buck dancer, a cooner and a buffooner, because they even lose respect for you because they're like, man, you're not even authentic to your own. You're basically a Benedict Arnold to your own. You're a Judas Iscariot to your own. They see this and they respect you even less. They already don't have that much respect for unapologetic brothers and sisters that are on code, that are woke as fuck. But the ones that coon and buffoon, they lose all the respect for you because they know that at any given moment, you're willing to sell your soul because you want notoriety. Let me make something very fucking clear before I get back on context. I don't give a fuck if motherfuckers talk to Earl the True Spence team or they talk to Earl the True Spence. I never gave a fuck if I ever affiliated with Earl the True Spence or his team. Earl the True Spence is just my favorite fighter. Let's get that shit. Let's get that shit straight, because I need to specify this. This is not about, oh, I talked to Earl the True Spence team. Who gives a fuck? Beta males always want validation. I'm a true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics. So I don't give a flying fuck. I don't give a fuck. Let me say it again. I don't give a fuck. What I say is absolute and resolute. So when I say something, it's always in a position of strength and authority. Notice I'm not talking to these teams, but every time He Knows Everything says something, it's always confirmed. It's always calculated. It's always verified, and it's always certified. It's a things that make you say, It's a things that make you say, Monty Brown, you a sucker, man. And you did some sucker shit. Because you came on one of those videos that I checked your ass on in cooning and buffooning status, because you are being rear-ended by Cinammon, Horchata, and Alvarez. And I'm going to continue to tell you this until you get your black skin back. I'm helping your rabbit ass out. It looks like you're getting ethered and murked, but that's not the case. It's basically girding up your damn loins. It's basically making you get back on your fucking beam. It's basically making you iron sharpeneth iron. For a man is sharpeneth by the countenance of his friend. I'm helping you to get back to what you were initially. The more and more you talk and cap for Cinammon, Horchata, and Alvarez, the more pale skin you become. And I got it, and I realize it, because you by yourself are not all that. You're corny as hell. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. See, people have to be honest with people. But because you started talking about Cinammon, Horchata, and Alvarez, it got you subs and views. Anybody can fucking do that. I could wake up the next day, put on a coon and fucking buffoon hat, which will never fucking happen, because I will always be authentic and consistent as you know what, and start talking about Cinammon, Horchata, and Alvarez. And boom, I can get views, subs and views. I can do the same shit with Vasily Lomachenko. But Maximus Decitus said it best. What we do in this life, it echoes into eternity. So what you're doing in this life is cooning and buffooning. It's really simple, and I'm gonna call your rabbit ass out on it. I don't do this every day because you're not on my fucking mind. You're not on my radar. This is He Knows Everything's birdies that report back and tell him this shit. And anytime they tell me, and you do stupid ass titles like that, you do cooning and buffooning titles like that, the foot will be put on your fucking neck, and unlimited pressure will be applied. You being rear-ended by Cinammon just got your attention because everyone knows in the YouTube boxing world that He Knows Everything knows exactly how to push the buttons, because the He Knows Everything clapback always demands a response. And then look what you end up doing, because I know you always doing this sucker shit. You drop a comment on my shit, I G-check you with my comment, and then you erase your fucking comment. Just because Esau the devil said I was supposedly out of pocket, he got G-fucking checked too. Because when it's all said and done, Esau the devil is not willing to get gangster. Esau the devil hides behind the cloak of a He Knows Everything. We already knew this. And I had to ether and murk his ass. Because what you don't understand is when you publicly say cooning and buffooning shit to that level, and you come out and you say information that makes no sense at that level, then keep the foot of the necks and keep the foot on the necks has to be at that level to counter you. That's why it's called keep the foot on the necks. Everybody don't understand. He knows everything is Jay-Z, dog. Jay-Z has a super ugly form. There's a super ugly form of he knows everything. And when that ugly form comes out, it is gangster. And it will ether and murk your rabbit ass. Unfortunately, nobody has an ether to counter it. And you know why? Because the ether belongs to he knows everything too. When it's all said and done, stop cooning and buffooning for Cinammon dust of a Horchata and Alvarez. Now let's get back to schedulally viewed broadcasts. Cinammon dust of a Horchata and Alvarez is basically telling Ryan Garcia how to duck elite black fighters, elite black competition. Because that's what he knows best. He don't know nothing else. Because if Cinammon dust of a Horchata and Alvarez was for real, he would be fighting Jermall Charlo. Every time I call out Cinammon dust of a Horchata and Alvarez, that shit gets back to his team. I know it because of the comments that he makes. There was a time that the Chihuahua barking behind that damn fence, and Terrence McCrawford did an emoji where he put glasses on and he said guys like that look like this are basically nerds. What they don't realize is nerds end up winning all at the end of the day. They like the turtle in the fucking race. Nerds end up getting all the girls. Nerds end up having all the fucking money. And nerds are fucking alpha males. Damn near a lot of them. See, that's what a lot of people don't understand. Because they got all the fucking money in the world. They command all the damn women. All these jocks that's in fucking high school. You look at them 20, 30 years later, fat as fucking fuck. These nerds are walking around 20, 30 years later, swole as fuck. Fucking the same women that they supposedly said, oh, look at this nerd in high school. They the ones swallowing they fucking yam. Shit. And they busting nuts all over their fucking face. When it's all said and done, this is why I laugh when Terrence McCrawford do this. These boxers take jabs at he knows everything, formerly known as he knows his sport. We had the super duper high job variation father drop comments in the community post. Drop comments on my fucking channel. Because he didn't like the fact that he knows everything, formerly known as he knows his sport, got on his super duper hype job variation son. But that's what he is. Look at the fate right now. George Cambosos Jr. can't sell a chicken dinner, let alone a fucking cookout. Ducking that rematch free smoke with Vasily Lomachenko. When it's all said and done, man, we gotta call a spade a spade. We gotta keep it real. We gotta keep it a buck. We gotta keep it 1,000. And calling a spade and keeping it a buck and keeping it 1,000 is simple as this. That when it's all said and done, Ryan Garcia is a product of his teacher. You are a product of those who instruct you. You are a product of your teacher. You are a product of your environment. And if your teacher, your instructions, and your environment is one of Cinammon dust of a Horchata and Alvarez, one that is petrified and scared of elite black fighters, one that does not want free smoke with the likes of Jermall Charlo, then it's not a surprise that a Ryan Garcia, Instary, is what he knows everything infamously calls him, is scared and is now using falsely, erroneously, the mental health tag to basically duck Gervonta Tank Davis because he knows Tank will literally tank his ass. These PBC fighters, they got these Mexican boxers scared as shit. Ryan Garcia, we know he's Mexican, but Cinammon dust of a Horchata is really like Irish, European, Spaniard type shit. This motherfucker is not Mexican. I'm telling you this right now. I'm looking at his physiology. That shit is speaking out to me Anglo-fucking-Saxon. Anglo-Saxon is old English, old school terminology for Caucasian. This is what they use now. They say Caucasian. Back then they used to say Anglo-fucking-Saxon. That is what Cinammon dust of a Horchata and Alvarez is. So when you talk great about Cinammon dust of a Horchata and Alvarez, you mention him in any heavyweight lifting denotion. When you know he fought a Billy Joe Saunders, that fought a journeyman prior. And we know in boxing, if you using the true boxing eye test, you know a fighter's as good as his last fight. And Billy Joe Saunders came off a long fucking layoff, mired in controversy and lawsuits, Cinammon Dust knows how to pick these wounded animals and cherry pickers, dog. And then he fought a journeyman and went tooth and nail. How did you think that fight was going to turn out? Caleb Smith suffocated his training camp. Didn't even give this motherfucker 9 to 13 weeks training camp. Everything with Cinammon Dust over Horchata and Alvarez is a controversy, man. That's why he can't be fucking respected. You guys want me to respect him? I need back-to-back. I need Drake of Jermall Charlo and Demetrius Andrade. He needs 2 heavyweight lifting fights back-to-back, and he needs to win them definitively. Meaning he needs to wash, double wash, and triple wash them. He does that, then he will start earning He Knows Everything respect. And he won't get full respect, but he will start fucking earning respect, because now we will understand that this guy's fucking for real as a boxer. He's fucking for real when it comes to what he's bringing to the table. When it's all said and done, we gotta call a spade a spade. We gotta keep it real. We gotta keep it a buck. A Cinammon Dust of a Horchata is what the fuck he is. A Cinammon Dust of a fucking Horchata. And this is the guy that's instructing Ryan Garcia. You wonder why Ryan Garcia ducked Gervonta Tank Davis. You wonder why Ryan Garcia doesn't want free smoke. And now he's advising Ryan Garcia to get away from Oscar De La Hoya. You guys want to know the real reason behind that? I'm going to call a spade a spade. I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm going to keep it 1,000. Watch Oscar De La Hoya comes back and reveals that he knows everything. And the prediction king strikes. And the prediction king strikes. He's going to reveal what He Knows Everything says so many months later. It always happens. This shit never fails, because He Knows Everything is Sun Tzu, aka Art of War. 7 steps ahead of the game. 48 laws of power. He operates in a seer mode fashion. So when he tells you something, it will come to pass. It is Nostradamus, dog. When it's all said and done, he basically is trying to excoriate himself up out of Oscar De La Hoya. This is the advisement that Cinammon Dust of a Horchata and Alvarez is giving Ryan Garcia. I'm going to ride a little bit on this one, because he wants Ryan Garcia to be preserved just like him. They want to continue to fight tomato cans. Who was the first boxer to take the WBC French fry belt? Who was the first boxer to accept ducking? Because that belt basically said that you can be a champion forever. Win, lose, or fucking draw. When is that shit ever fucking happen in boxing, where you can be a champion forever, win, lose, or draw? It's a things that make you say, It's a things that make you say, But in its most cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cut-through truth telling fashion, it's as simple as this. This is what we're dealing with. This is the fate that we're talking about here. When it's all said and done, the biggest pocket issue, and the biggest topic issue that's associated behind Cinammon Dust of a Horchata Alvarez and Ryan Garcia is as simple as this. That Cinammon Dust of a Horchata and Alvarez is teaching Ryan Garcia how to not fight elite black fighters, how to stay clear of them, how to stay away from them. What this does to the sport of boxing, it takes the sport of boxing and it's basically like you wiping the shit out of your ass and putting it in somebody's face. That's what the sport has become. Let me say it again. It's like you taking basically toilet paper, wiping your ass crack, getting all the shit out of it, and taking it and wiping somebody's fucking face with it. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat truth teller fashion. I keep the foot on the whoop. Yeeks. I keep the foot on the whoop. Yeeks. When it's all said and done, what you see behind me is not boxing. It's called verbal ducking that's masquerading by sparring, i.e. boxing. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.